miss me. Yes, I'm y'all know I'm kind of like southern country-ish, living in the city kind of vibe. Welcome to About Nothing But Sports, everybody. I am back, and I am excited because I have been trying to get this doll on for quite some time. She's giving me the side eye because it has been some months here, man. And I am elated to have her on. Listen, Fox Sports reporter, ESPN reporter, ABC sports reporter, everything sports. BET contributor. I mean, up and coming. She's going to be an author soon. I mean, I don't know how many hats you want me to put on, girl, and all these different titles, but I can do it for you. Miss Renee Washington, welcome to the Fire Guest Lineup season of About Nothing But Sports. You've been here before. This is not your first time. How are you, sis? What's going on?
I'm great. Everything's fantastic with the new branding, the intro. I love everything. Hair's on fleek, intro's on fleek, minus the background. But it's fine because I'm rocking my Eagles green. You're rocking your Cowboys. You know, it's cool.
Yeah.
Over here.
This was not planned. Y'all can't imagine how close we are despite the fact she's an Eagles fan. But now I feel prepared because I feel like if I didn't have this in the background, you would have kind of had one up on me, like on my show, you know what I mean? Because you got your whole Philly decked out situation. So we make sure that we're on point. Again, thank you for joining us. It's been some time since you've been on. And so there's a different little format to the show, but ultimately we're going to end the show, of course, talking sports. We'll probably end it with talking about the city of brotherly love in some capacity. But one of the first things I love to do is on this new season, my Fire Guest Lineup season, and y'all know it's from week to week. This, of course, she's fire. We're going to get into she was fire from birth, but we're going to talk about the sports side. I want my listeners, I want my followers, my supporters to just know a little bit more about Renee. So let's kind of just dive in really quick on how you just a quick overall of how your sports journey started, and how you got to where you are now with your 8,000 different hats.
Yes. So my journey in sports began with my sports family and just having a background growing up in a household where everybody played sports. We watched sports. I grew up going to games, Sixers games, New York Liberty games, Mystics games. We were all things sports in my house. And so I like to coin the term that my sisters and I are first generation soccer players because I grew up in a basketball family.
Oh, my bad. Did I mention she a 3-time All-American? My bad. I should have thrown that out there first. My bad. Go ahead. I don't want to tell your story for you. Go ahead.
And so we were able to play every sport growing up. Soccer, basketball, track were our three main sports. And for me, I was much better at soccer than my other sports and ended up playing in college, playing at LaSalle University here in Philly. Had an incredible career that it still is a dream looking back on it, being a 3-time All-American, making 3 NCAA tournament appearances, winning conference championships, a lot of firsts, a lot of history. And then also having a chance to play some professionally, coach some college soccer, and then shift into reporting. And as you mentioned, now working with ESPN as a college reporter, working with ABC, BET as a contributor, just working in many different aspects of sports and just being able to do what I love, most importantly, and doing what feels like home for me. Like sports is when I look back, my greatest memories, experiences, childhood memories, family moments have been around sports. And so it's so remarkable to have a chance to now connect my passion, my foundation of who I am as a person with what I do professionally.
Why didn't it work out in basketball?
You know what? It's interesting because between the 4 of us, for my 3 siblings and I, we all played basketball, but I, for whatever reason, stuck more towards soccer. I remember the biggest thing I remember that's as an adult I can process looking back, I was able to play soccer with anybody and everybody without batting an eye. No hesitation, no nerves. So I remember my parents used to encourage me and would actually help me get started. I used to play with my older sisters, as you know, Ashley, but for those that are tuning in, they're 3 years older than me. They're twins. So I was jumping into their team's practices, their training, and I was playing with them all the time. I would play with boys. I would play with the neighborhood kids. I'd play at school. I'd play any and ever I could play. Basketball, on the other hand, I was like nervous. Didn't want to play with It was the same thing. My parents gave me the opportunity, and I still remember vividly to this day practicing with my sister's AAU teams and travel teams and being so nervous. But I think it was because the way that I was built. I mean, I'm still very skinny and lanky, but back then was even worse. I just felt more confident in soccer. I felt outmatched physically, like I couldn't hang with the older kids. And so, because of that, I started to grow in soccer. My talent got better, my confidence got better, which all translated to it becoming my better sport that I was playing on a regional and national level at a youth level versus basketball, where I wasn't playing that as competitively. So, I guess it was a mental thing, to be honest.
And it's, I haven't heard this story. Contrary to popular beliefs, Renee is my girl. I haven't heard this story. And it's funny hearing it though, because what you guys don't know is that she's wildly competitive. Wildly competitive. So for you to be like, oh, I was a little shy about basketball, I'm like, really?
I was like crying. Like I was so nervous. And part of it, so my sisters really were the trailblazers for me in sports. They always were so good in soccer and basketball. They were player of the year. They won championships. They were like, had so many accolades, but they were good in both. Like they were the opposite of me. When we all going through the recruiting process had options for soccer and basketball, but their options were a lot more even. You know, my options for soccer versus college basketball offers were much different. So I don't know why, because they were very good in both, but I still found myself naturally way more nervous whenever it came time to play basketball. But I was a very good basketball player. I just loved soccer more. And it felt just easier to me. It felt more natural to me. So it's odd that competitive nature apparently did not translate into basketball in the same way.
Hey, I used to play basketball around the way, but like with the boys at the basketball court, and I was fouling, and my form was oh my god, my form was
so trash.
My form is my shooting form is trash. I don't know. I don't know if I thought I was good in the neighborhood or, but I used to be trying to rumble, but I would foul. I'm scratching you up. I'm not a good basketball player at all. I wasn't much of an athlete growing up myself. So shout out to y'all because y'all all had the gene and I don't possess it at all.
I will say what people don't know is not only did I play like for basketball and for track, I was first team, everything. I was dropping 25, 30 points in basketball, high school basketball. I was varsity. I was a captain. I was like a 2-time captain for track. I like set records in middle school. I was undefeated in middle school in track, for whatever that's worth, for the mile and the half mile. Like I was really good at all my sports, but soccer was just like head and shoulders above. And I just loved it more. Like track, I remember the smell of the track is like triggering for me. Like,
like right now you want to go to the track.
I was just at the track actually doing a story and I was like,
do you run? Do you feel the urge to like just run when you out there?
No.
Oh, that's age. No shade. I think it's age. If you was like 6, 7 years younger, maybe you'd be like, yeah, I can. We can imagine the pain your body would be in if you was to like do it now.
That's why I don't run. Because I feel like I was fortunate that with all that I did within sports, I was able to walk away healthy without I broke a collarbone, I had pulled hamstrings and sprained ankles, but I was fortunate I didn't walk away with anything major, and I don't want to be crippled and injured as an adult. Facts. So I value my health. I do run in heels though. I was actually running in heels today. Like I get some great cardio in. I'll be up and down the sidelines, and I don't like. I ran up a hill today actually in heels. So
she still got it. And I would be remiss if I didn't mention that today is International Women's Day. So shout out to all the ladies, mothers, aunts, sisters, nieces. Where women are just, they say it's a man's world. We make that thing go though. So shout out to all the dope, amazing, trailblazing women. And this one right here again, Renee Washington. Listen, I mentioned your hats that you wear. And one of the things, and just keeping up with your work and keeping up with the things you do. You have a knack for helping people as well, helping individuals and just creating opportunities, creating avenues for folks to dip their feet in, whether it be sports or other things. And one of the main things that you do is you have a company called Planted Not Buried. And I definitely want you to talk to the listeners about that really quick before we start getting into some sports talk a little bit. But I need you to inform the people about Planted Not Buried, because it's an incredible organization.
Well, thank you, Ashley, and I'm
Of
excited to
course.
have you collaborate and partner with Planted Not Buried.
You know, it's watch this, y'all. Yeah, you know, I was gonna let her drop the news, but you know.
Yes. So the biggest thing that I found in all my experiences within sports and outside of it is just how there's such a need for the connection and a need for people to have support and guidance. I was fortunate that through my family growing up, now through great friends like yourself, that I have that village, but not everybody has that. And it's hard to figure out, how do I,
Yeah.
fill in the blank, whatever that looks like, network, get the job, write my resume, or even just have confidence. There's so many things we're all trying to figure out as humans. And so, with the mindset of being planted, it's understanding that we're all a work in progress. So, Planted Not Buried was created and I founded the organization to create a space to help educate, inspire, and empower others through events, networking opportunities, professional development opportunities, resources, collaborative chances, and just chances to learn, chances to connect, chances to, especially after the pandemic, I felt like I was so moved to want to launch it, which is why I did in December of 2020, because I just saw the value of even these virtual conversations, that regardless of where we are in the world, regardless who we are and our backgrounds, we're all in a season of growth. And why not work together, as I say, to like build towards a winning season? And so I really am excited for all the great things to come for Planted Not Buried. It's connected on all my social media, super easy to find. But we've got some great programming and classes, workshops, a lot of great things in the future that we're doing, as we are also growing and turning a corner in terms of how we are helping others. So great new things to come.
I'm excited, and I'm excited to be a part of it. Definitely going to make sure that I have you plug everything at the end of the show. Again, where people can reach you, reach it. And again, it's going to be such an incredible resource, I feel like, for a lot of people. So I'm really excited and proud of you for it. So let's talk sports, people. Let's talk sports. So there's a couple of things that I want to talk about, just some couple of big stories. Obviously, we have to tap into the Ja Morant news here. Ja Morant seen with a gun on his Instagram story. I absolutely hate that for him. Ja Morant is just such a fan favorite. He easily has the potential to be one of the, if not the face of the league, right? His talent is incredible. And I just kind of want your initial thoughts on, the situation with him. He is expected to be away from Memphis for about 4 more games. He was suspended for 2 games. There was a statement that came out. He apologized for everything that went on, deleted all social medias. Then another report came out saying that he was expected to be away for 4 more games. Memphis is sitting tied in the 2nd seed in the West. There's talk about the possibility that firearm was bought on a team plane. So there's a possibility, or there's reports out there that there may be like a 50-game suspension looming. That's an automatic 50-game suspension if firearms are brought on a team plane. So just, I guess, what examples do we kind of have of stuff that's happened like this before? And like, just if you could go into like helping mode right now, if I was Ja and you could sit down and tell me the real, what would you say? Like, what do you think about everything? Like, how do you assess the whole situation?
I have been very hesitant to speak up on it on social media, just because I don't know enough about it.
Yeah.
And I saw a video today of him with his family on a plane, old footage, and it was him throwing back Casamigos like it was water. And he was with his
That's a
family.
viral video that's been out there.
Yes, that video has been going around, and it was like
Yep.
him with different bottles, and he's chugging, and he's not sipping, he's literally chugging. And it was the report that I've also been seeing now that's coming out, is he's been dealing with mental health, drug addiction, alcohol addiction. The biggest thing that we often forget for superstars like Ja Morant is not only is he human, he's 23 years old. What were you doing at 23 years
So
old?
young.
You're so young, you have
So young.
and then you have so much money and
Yes.
access to stuff. You have a lot of
Yes.
people. We've seen a lot of celebrities that have lost their lives or been threatened or been in fights because people around them want a piece of that. And now they're getting shot at a Waffle House or whatever happened. So I'm not even going to knock the fact that he's carrying a firearm, because I know plenty of people that are
Correct.
strapped to have protection, because in this world we live in, you don't know what to expect. Personally, I do not carry any firearms, but
Right.
each their own. You have the right to bear arms. Where you're doing that, of course, is the issue. But I do think there's a bigger picture here that we're forgetting, in the fact that, yes, he's absolutely the next generation in terms of the face of the league. But mental health does not miss anybody. Addiction, nobody is above that either. So if he really is genuinely dealing with any of those types of challenges, we need to honor that and give him time and space and support to work through that. The other part is this whole concept that I hate. He grew up in a two-parent household. He grew up, and people are posting pictures of him as a child with a polo on and whatever else. I don't care how you grew up. How many times do we see people that grew up in a two-parent household and become serial killers? Or that grew
Absolutely.
up in a single-parent household or
Yep.
a foster home and they become billionaires?
I'll take it even a step further. How many times have we seen pastors' kids, grow up and correct? Yeah.
Does not politicians, their kids.
Yes.
Nobody is above or beneath any of the adversity in life. And I hate that ignorant take on just people ready to throw him under the bus and attack him. No, I don't agree with some of the choices he made. I don't like the fact he was flailing around with a gun on anything.
Yeah.
And the way he's been carrying his social media, to me, is just a reminder he's 23. My brother, 24 years old. And when I think about it, I'm like, dang, I can't even imagine my brother being anywhere close to the stage that Ja Morant's on. It's no knock on my brother. He's just young.
Yeah.
And so when you put in all these factors, his age, the exposure that all professional athletes have, they handle it one way or the other. We have seen plenty of athletes over the years that at their early career part of their career struggle with it, or even like a Tiger Woods, where things come out in the biggest stretch of their career of challenges and scandals and issues. And this is nothing new for that. So I just hope that everybody, especially the people closest to him, help take that step back. If he was my friend, I'm giving him that support. Hey, what's going on? What's changed? Because this isn't something we've seen from him. He's always been that loud personality. He always has that swagger.
Correct.
But we haven't seen it this extreme. What has changed?
Yeah.
And figuring out the core away from everything NBA and all the other stuff, him as a person, as the 23-year-old Ja Morant, what has been going on that has triggered this? Because it's a bigger problem that we're missing.
Yeah, I agree. And again, when you couple the age, the money, the access, the people that he's around, we're not going to act like that Memphis is a walk in the park, the city itself. So you have to consider those influences as well. I agree with you. I'm hoping that the league gives him grace, his peers, his family, the fans, that we extend grace. So I'm definitely with you on that. And when you say it like that, when everything dropped this past weekend, I immediately kind of went out of, I'm a mom, as y'all know. So I kind of immediately went out of like, I don't care about the fact that he's a player on the Memphis Grizzlies. I don't care. You're waving a gun, and it was given like you're showing it to show somebody something. Like, what are you involved in? And now I'm scared for you. Now I'm worried for your, on top of whatever mental issues you're dealing with, I'm worried for your well-being, your safety. You know what I'm saying? Like, that's it really bothered me. So that was the thing that I was most concerned with. And of course, we definitely hope that he gets better. Take all the time you need, man. It's not easy. I mean, here we are talking about he has the potential to be the face of the league, and he's Ja Morant. We don't know the incredible amount of pressure that comes with. You probably have more of a sense of it than I do, because you're an athlete, and so you've been in championship games. You know what that pressure looks like. You've felt that before. You know what I mean? And so I can only imagine what he feels or has felt or is dealing with, where he feels like he has to turn to drugs or whatever. Or I don't know if it's drugs though. Like, don't they get drugs tested? Like, I don't know if it's just like maybe alcohol abuse or something like that. I know that he checked in, but I thought that the NBA like tests for drugs. I think it's probably more so of like the alcohol that might be the issue there. So
Yeah,
Prayers and well wishes. Go ahead. I'm sorry.
they definitely do random drug tests.
Yeah,
I
yeah.
don't know if that's like, is weed included in that? Like, I don't know all that it's catching, but I'm pretty sure when they say addiction, in my opinion, I agree it's alcohol. But I will say the last thing on this is we don't understand what that's like. And I
Facts.
hate the fact that people are so ignorant and naive to just the challenges that come with being on a large pedestal. I'm a very small, way smaller compared to what a John Morant is at. And I already can see the difference. And even in my sports career, could see the difference. I can't imagine when you can't walk down the street, you can't go to the grocery store. And then it's not just the good. It's not just the fans and, people trying to talk to you or date you or take pictures with you and want your autograph. It's also the other side, as you talk about, when you're waving that is concerning. Are you involved in something? There are people trying to get your bag that wants your money, and you don't know how far that goes. So this whole like outside look in of just the 2-parent household and he's John Moran. I don't care about all that. He's still human, and there's still clearly something wrong there that needs to be addressed. So definitely hoping for things to smoothly work out and for him to get back.
Yeah, me too. And again, prayers to him. I hope he gets better again. John, if you're listening, first of all, if you're listening, thank you for listening to About Nothing But Sports. We're excited that you are tapped in. Ashley Baker, Renee Washington. But definitely in our prayers and making sure that take all the time you need, man. You know what I mean? This mental thing is bigger than anything else. Making sure you take care of your chicken. That's what my guy Marshawn Lynch said. Beast mode. Yeah. So that was a great transition into football. I cannot have you leave this show without getting your thoughts on two things. And we're going to start here. Right down the street from you in Baltimore. Down the street is crazy. Right down the street from you in Baltimore. Lamar Jackson. The Baltimore Ravens, man, for those that don't know, have placed a non-exclusive tag on Lamar Jackson. They were not able to come to a deal to get him his bag. He has the non-exclusive tag on him, meaning that other teams can talk and negotiate with the Ravens, and the Ravens have the opportunity, I think, within like 7 days to match the offer. So I guess my main question is do you believe we've seen our last of Lamar in Baltimore? Let me jump in here first though. After hearing a couple of different opinions, and I just don't know why you non-exclusively tag him and you have like every intention on keeping him. You understand what I'm saying? Like, I really feel like they might let him walk. I really feel like that. I think it's ridiculous at the moment in this rookie deal when they had the opportunity to pay Lamar Jackson. They should have paid him. He won MVP in his second year. I think that following off season, after that third year, that following off season, they had the option to pay him. They did not. This has been at a standstill for like 3 years. He's Lamar Jackson. I don't think that I have, in my recollection, seen a team fumble such a bag on a rookie deal. Like, I'm pretty sure there are other examples out here, but this is like the biggest one to date. It could have been something similar to the Patrick Mahomes contract where he signed like a $500 million deal for 10 years, but it was super team friendly. And now it looked crazy then, but now it made so much sense. You have Deshaun Watson that's got his bag, Kyler Murray that's got his bag, Daniel Jones just got his bag, and we're waiting on Lamar Jackson to get a bag. I think that all of this in general has probably pissed Lamar off. If he can be tagged, he doesn't have to sign it. He can sit out. I think he'll face some fines if all of that happens. I personally think that I've seen our last days of Lamar in Baltimore. What you think?
Bye.
Bye.
Okay, bye.
Okay, bye. So you think he out of there?
I have several issues with this. One, it just shows their lack of faith in Lamar Jackson being their quarterback.
Why is that?
And I think, unfortunately, for quarterbacks, and I'm gonna give it to the real because I'm seeing the same thing in Philly with Jalen Hurts. There are some quarterbacks that have to jump through hoops, bend over backwards just to prove that they're deserving of a top contract. Because a lot of times those said quarterbacks are getting the blame put on them. And the Ravens, not only have they had these issues with contracts for the last few years, they've also had issues of building an offensive line around Lamar Jackson that can actually help. Give him some targets, give him some receivers, give him guys that can help with pass protection and blocking. None of that. None of that. And then consistently every year they've dropped the ball. They've underperformed. They've struggled. They've been a playoff team, early round dismissal type of a team because they refuse to take time to invest in building around Lamar Jackson. So in my opinion, before we even got to this stage, it already felt like they weren't believing in him, because you see other teams and what they do when they have the guy, the quarterback that they feel like is the future of the franchise. They take time to protect that quarterback, build around that quarterback, and give them teammates to help them want to not only stay but win games. That's what this is all about. Yeah. So
it's funny that you mentioned the offensive line around him, and it's funny because people are talking about one of the reasons is, oh, he's just coming off of the injury. He's been injured the last couple of seasons, and those injury issues, now that I say it, is so team inflicted. Like, where was the protection? There's no way y'all are holding back on paying him due to injury when y'all didn't put nothing around him to begin with. So that's a great point that you brought up there.
Because it's in this league, contrary to what people think, with the different phases of the game, the O-line is one small part, and the quarterback is also a small part in that too. You need to build a team. You need to have a strong defensive line, strong special teams, strong offensive line, strong quarterback, receivers, running backs. You need all of that. And to have everything on the shoulders of Lamar Jackson season after season after season, after he wins MVP, that's when you need to start building. They've had good players coming in and out. They can't keep anyone. They don't try. They're not making any aggressive moves in drafts in the offseason and free agency. To me, they already told us what we know now, what we're seeing now. They've already been teeing it up for this. They don't believe in Lamar Jackson for whatever reason, because Lamar Jackson, much like many other quarterbacks, because he's a running back, which is nonsense.
Dual threat.
Doesn't get the credit he deserves.
Yeah.
But what also makes me more concerned, definitely get an agent, Lamar Jackson. Let's get all that, the business.
I agree.
It's time. It's more than time. But also it's concerning that nobody else is stepping up and actively. We haven't heard much. So now,
are you talking about other teams?
Yes.
Well, it's actually it's disgusting, because prior to everything, first of all, there are several teams with the money, with the assets, with the need at quarterback, and nobody has any interest in Lamar Jackson.
Major. We've heard little things here and there, and
it screams collusion. I'm gonna just put it out there. It screams collusion. I'm hearing reports that there's a battle between the owners and the NFLPA, where they want to make sure that there's no team that gives Lamar Jackson anything similar to what Deshaun Watson got, and that is what he is going for.
That's ridiculous.
Yeah. So I'm hearing collusion.
That's what I've been hearing and seeing of, like, what's going on behind the scenes that we're missing. We know sports, just like we were talking about with John Morant, there's a business behind it. Thanks. And at the core of it, there are several athletes over the years that careers have been extremely changed, usually for the bad, because of collusion, because of, whether we're going to go as far as saying blackballing, or maybe just in sports, there are sometimes people that want to control the narrative. They want certain players to be the face of the league, of the team. They want certain teams to be successful. A team like Patrick Mahomes and the Chiefs versus Lamar Jackson and the whoever, and I hate to say that, but it's the real of sports. And we're seeing it play out right now, because not only did the Ravens feel like they could have the audacity to let him go and not tag him, other teams aren't jumping up saying, we want him. And there are plenty of teams. I can think of about 26 teams that could use Lamar Jackson at quarterback.
They can't afford him, but they can use him.
They might be, exactly.
Yeah.
They can't afford Lamar, but there are more than half of the teams in this league that should be. If I'm them, I'm scrambling trying to figure out what I can do to get Lamar Jackson.
Yeah.
And to see people quiet, the crickets chirping is disgusting. It's disrespectful, and he deserves better. So Lamar Jackson, we've seen with him. We've seen it with other quarterbacks. I even think back to players like Michael Vick. We're seeing it with Jalen Hurts. There have been quarterbacks specifically that have been deserving of the contract, and for whatever reason, and I know that reason, but it is what it is, I guess.
We can keep it 100 on here.
They're not getting that. They're not
got the sugarcoated on about nothing but sports, honey. We ain't got the sugarcoated, but I know you were going. I know you mentioned Jalen Hurts. And he's going to be looking to get paid too. I'm hearing, I heard a number earlier with him looking to get something around 260 million guaranteed, which is about 30 million more than what Deshaun Watson got. And again, when it comes to Baltimore, I mean, you avoid a lot of this if you had just paid the man 3 years ago. You got him. You don't have to. He's locked in. You don't have to worry about this big number. And they failed to do that. Jalen Hurts, your guy, Philadelphia quarterback, your background. Yeah. I don't like the yeah part. I'm doing it for you because I don't really care for them. But coming off of a Super Bowl appearance, I never did tell you sorry for your loss. Did I even reach out to you that night?
Huh?
Did I even reach out to you that night? I think I wanted to wait. I like to wait when people lose Super Bowls because I don't want to it makes you feel some kind of way. I wouldn't want people would be blowing my phone up if Dallas got there and lost. And I would just be like, can y'all at least wait till tomorrow? So I don't think I reached out to you that night. I think I reached out the next day. But overall, great draft, great off season. People easily after your off season and draft had Philadelphia in the Super Bowl. The moves that were made, there were people y'all immediately were the favorites, and the favorites were right. Y'all were favorites to make the Super Bowl, and those odds ended up being right. Couple things that y'all.
Your favorites though, because I heard so many people
bad
talking the Eagles because they have Jalen Hurts, he's not a top quarterback, he's not a QB1. The Eagles this, the Eagles that. And I always felt like after losing to Tampa Bay in the first round in 2022, that was the playoff experience that they needed. They had a young team. They had a new coach and Nick Sirianni. They had a lot of youth, and a lot of their best players were young players. You have Jalen Hurts, who, for whatever reason, people forget, that was his first time being starting quarterback consistently. These things take time. You don't just get thrown right into any league and suddenly you just are successful. Very few are able to do that, LeBron James.
Yeah.
And so I feel
I wish y'all make sure that y'all watching the YouTube channel so y'all can see my reactions.
I felt like bringing in AJ Brown, having Devontae Smith now with a year under his belt, having Jalen Hurts for the full season, Nick Sirianni in a much more confident spot. I always felt like they were a team that could absolutely win the NFC East.
Yeah.
And also had potential in the NFC. But I think the biggest thing I like to stress to anybody is, first of all, my team was there and many others were not. 30 other teams are sitting at home. So I don't want to hear anything about any of the Philly sports teams that lost in the finals because these are in the finals. But I will say, if they don't pay Jalen Hurts the right money, people are out. That's it.
Well, here's the deal. I think y'all are going to pay Jalen. I don't think that's a thing. But in doing that,
they have to.
Some folks are going to leave. So you're not going to have the same team. What do you have any early expectations for y'all, or you kind of want to see how things pan out in the draft and in the off season before you give that? Because I'll make sure I have you on definitely before the season starts.
Yeah, and then definitely as we get back to the Super Bowl, so we can preview us being back in the Super Bowl. No, I will say,
brother, I just can't stand to hear an Eagle fan brag and boast. Y'all know that really grinds my gears.
The hardest part is,
I can't say nothing. I just got to sit here and take it.
I'm actually speaking on facts. I mean, this. Not for what the future
holds. No, it's very but it's very
in the Super Bowl. That's a fact. So
yeah, but it's very. My team was there and yours weren't. So don't say nothing. That is so Philly. That is so Philly.
I don't even have to say those words because did you see your team there?
Okay, we're wrapping. That's the end of the show.
I don't have to speak on the obvious. That's like me saying they played in Arizona. I don't have to tell you all that. You saw it. I don't tell you which two teams are on the field and which other 30 teams were not. Y'all saw. But what I will say is, for the Eagles and for any team, what I always like to stress, there's a championship hangover. There's also a finalist hangover because you cannot keep the same team together. It's just not possible. There's business, there's contracts, there's money. And also, as your team does better, because I was just talking about this with the Chicago Sky and the WNBA, as your team wins championships or even gets to the championship, players can demand more money. And you can't pay everybody. So you're going to lose people like a CJ Gardner-Webb. You're going to lose different people. Don't know if he's out for sure. I'm just saying. I've heard the rumors.
Fletcher Cox is probably gone.
Right. You're going to lose some big names, but you're also going to bring in some new pieces. And it's up to the front office, and for that, definitely the leaders that do return, to make sure we figure out a way to move forward without the old and help the new come in seamlessly. There's just no, this is not high school or college sports where you typically, and even that's changed, typically have the same group season after season.
Correct.
So for anybody to feel like the Eagles are gonna be missing these key players next year and things are gonna drastically change, that's the case for many teams. There's a lot of teams. Who knows if the Giants will have Saquon Barkley? Who knows if the Ravens will have Lamar Jackson? There's plenty of teams we don't know if their big name superstars are coming back. So if the Eagles can secure Devontae Smith, A.J. Brown, Jalen Hurts, on the defensive end, players like Darius Slade, you can keep these big names. Okay, I'm encouraged, and we'll figure out the rest as we go. But overall, I'm encouraged by this team moving forward. I think they're hungry. You can just hear it in the city, in the vibes. And knowing that they are so young, I think is the motivating factor that they can get back.
That's facts. It's a young squad. I think y'all have one of the youngest squads in the league.
Yeah.
So
a lot of guys under like 25, 26, like a lot of young talented players in all three phases of the ball, as I stressed was the importance earlier.
I don't want to see it, but I can see it. Absolutely.
Special teams that can kick the extra points.
Okay, I feel shots. I'm feeling shots here. That's feeling.
I'm just saying that, these are the little things that go a long way, and so I'm encouraged by the team and what even Harry Roseman does and what the front office does in terms of the draft and free agency. So we'll see.
Well, good luck with the draft. Good luck with free agency. Not really. But you know what I mean? I'm going to say it and do it as a courtesy because, you're my homegirl. You're on the show. I got to, oh, girl. Kind of just kind of size you up a little bit. But like what? Yeah. Just make sure you keep that energy when we get DeAndre Hopkins because that is on my wish list. And I feel like that the football gods are going to grant me this gift. I have waited so long for just this boom from Dallas. And
this boom from Dallas, and I know you got to go soon, and this is your show, so I'm not trying to take over the show or anything. What's up with this whole deal of like, I can be the offensive coordinator and the head coach? What is this?
I think he's like been around Jerry Jones too long. I can be the owner and the GM vibes. Yeah, here's the deal. That was one of the reasons why folks was ready for McCarthy to get up out of Green Bay, though, is because his scheming wasn't innovative. He was very predictive. He hadn't changed with the times. So I am hoping that the talent that we have this year outweighs the coaching deficiencies because I feel like that's going to be a thing. That's just
the hard part is it's. You coach. All right. He's a good coach to win games. Stretch coaching. It's a chess match down the stretch, and coaching decisions. Decision in many games actually. Not just.
She's doing this on purpose. I just want y'all to know.
I was just curious.
It's your show. Like she's gonna troll. Like, she's not funny. She's gonna troll. But listen, oh my goodness, y'all know. Yeah, she is Philly to.
She's a
Philly and a LeBron fan.
What was that?
She's a Philly and a LeBron fan. For those that didn't hear me, like that's crazy. Like it's like darn if you do, darn if you don't. Like I'm not sure how we're this close because. We would have been cool back in like 2010, 2014 for sure. When when he was
for sure, but we would have been friends then. That's weird, and you're friends now. Yeah. But I will say, like, I just like to support teams that win. I like to support teams that have championship contenders.
I just won a championship in 2017 for the Eagles. Calm down.
They won a championship while I was alive. I can't say this. Not every fan can say the same about their team.
I can say it. I just don't remember it. I was alive. I don't remember it.
That's true. You were alive. You were more than just a fetus at that time. So barely out. But what I will say is, in all seriousness, what people don't realize is I also like to root for people with a good story. That's why I like LeBron James. Like I like the humble. I like Eagles, that underdog. I'm not a front runner, and I'm definitely not just gonna choose the flashy person. Like I'm good.
Yeah. I feel that. I like that. And I'm pretty sure that y'all like this conversation. And listen, you can hear much more from Renee. Make sure that y'all follow her on social media. Please make sure that you plug your stuff right now, your handles, and also make sure you let everybody know where they can tap into Plants and Not Buried. Thanks for being
on. So let me tell you all the different platforms that I'm on. We'll be
It's
here
like a
forever.
million.
We'll be here forever. But in all seriousness, I'm at Renee P. Washington on everything except Twitter because my full name does not fit. So Twitter is at Renee P. Wash, and then Planted Not Buried is at Planted NB across all things social. It's all connected. You find one, you find the others. But I'm definitely always talking on sports, promoting some positivity, different things like that. So give me a follow. I usually follow back, kind of, for the most part. And thank you.
He's a liar.
I
I follow back, kind of like no.
I follow back most of the time. No, I do follow back. My ratios.
I think you do follow back. You do follow back. She's a woman of her word. She follows back for sure.
Yeah, I like to uplift others. It's not about just me. So you follow me, I follow you. I'll support you. We'll be best friends. But for my best friend Ashley, thank you so much for having me on.
Thank you for being on. Of course.
And I thank you for bringing some stimulating conversation and also for continuing to raise the bar and the level with everything you're doing with A and B Sports. So proud of you.
I appreciate it. We've been trying to get you on. We've been trying to get you on for 7 months. This is crazy. Yeah, this is. But listen, finally, and she's a busy woman, and it wasn't me.
It's not me. Ashley was supposed to have me on her show literally September 1st. I actually have it still marked in my phone. No big deal because the Virgo.
Who did I bump you for? Who did I bump you for? Did I bump you for like?
You bumped me for every guest.
Like Joy or like Marcus Spears?
It was all of them. Okay, Ashley was supposed to have me on the first week of September because it was supposed to be around my birthday. I was going to be on. It was part of the new launch of her show. Apparently, I wasn't special enough for the new launch.
No, that's not true.
I got kicked to the curb like the Ravens are doing Lamar Jackson. And she didn't lock me in. She kept saying next week.
This is very dramatic, y'all. This is a very dramatic story. This is a very dramatic story. It's not true. No.
Here's the irony. I just celebrated my half birthday. That's how long it's been since you originally tried to have you on the show.
Oh, God, she got us time step on it. It's disgusting work. All right, y'all. Thank y'all. Listen, again, Renee, thank you for being here. Thank you for being here, sis. You are a gem, a doll, always dropping gems, always dropping knowledge, always around to help, guide, encourage. You are definitely one of the important women to me on this International Women's Day. That's crazy. So I really appreciate you for tapping in. I appreciate y'all for listening. Make sure that you follow me on social media, of course, at @AshleyBaker_21. That's on Twitter. That's on Instagram. That's on TikTok. And make sure that you subscribe to the show, Apple, Spotify, Google Podcasts, and Anchor, and Stitcher, and iHeartRadio, wherever you like to listen to your podcast, we are likely there. So I appreciate you guys for tapping in. Y'all know the vibes. Same place, same time next week. Thank you for tuning in. Thanks, Renee.
Thank you. Bye.